Welcome to Live Breathe Film, episode 65. You're here with Corey, Doug, and Murph. Thank you for joining us. Today we're going to discuss the Batman in more detail. I mean, we gave a lot of detail last time, but we have a little bit more to say after we had some more viewings of the film. Do we lose connection?
No, we're good.
There was a weird pop. Whatever, Doug just popped, made it sound like I lost connection. All right, let me start from the beginning. Welcome to Liberty Film, episode 65. You're here with Corey, Doug, and Murph. Thank you for joining us. Today we're going to discuss the Batman in more detail. Considering we talked about a lot already, we're not going to be talking as much, but we got more detail after seeing it some more times, along with discussing that major deleted scene which dropped online, starring you know who. And if you don't know who, we will talk about it in the feature presentation. But before we get to that, let's run through some news and what we watched recently, including The Lost City and Moon Knight. All right, guys, let's go straight into talking about the box office, and more specifically, our winter spring box office pool. So this past weekend, Morbius opened to a fairly average $39 million. Nothing, not as terrible as something like Dark Phoenix, New Mutants, or Fantastic Four, but nothing as good as anything from the MCU. It's kind of like
it could have been worse.
Yeah, it's kind of like where the mediocre Marvel movies opened in the 2000s, like a Daredevil, etc. But it will definitely drop like a stone because the reviews and word of mouth have both been pretty piss poor.
Hopefully, we can get. My hope right now is that like gets to 80-ish million.
Yeah, I mean, making double what it opened with seems like a fair thing to expect.
I mean, it's going to drop.
It does have some competition. It has a lot of competition for the month of April. It's got Sonic coming out this weekend, along with Ambulance, so that covers a lot of demographics, the male demographics specifically. And then we've got the new Fantastic Beasts movie coming out next weekend. So that's 2 weekends in a row where it's getting pretty big A-level competition. So yeah, if it makes 80, you can call that a win, Doug.
I mean, for how bad the reviews are, 40 million isn't terrible.
No.
And I didn't realize this until recently, but that movie only cost $80 million to make.
Sony movies are made on the cheap as far as blockbusters go.
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
Which makes all their mega hits lately, like, all the more impressive.
Yeah, so I mean, they've got to be happy. Didn't they make like 80 million so far global?
I believe so.
So they'll probably break. They should make a little bit of money, break even ish.
Yeah, I mean, typically you got to make 3 times as much as what your budget was. Then you also have to consider the cost of all their delays. I know, like, insurance would help with some of it, but I doubt all of the delays and the various marketing costs over the years, literally years. But yeah, it's a movie that we're not gonna get a sequel. That's not gonna happen. Maybe they'll still use the character in like Venom movies or something like that. I mean, based on those post-credit scenes, I don't know how exactly they're gonna use them. Doug, I know went right in on reading what happened in the movie, like in the post-credit scenes, since you weren't one to run out for it, even though it is your movie in the pool. But how ridiculous are those scenes? Were there 2 of them?
Yeah, so I guess can we just spoil the shit out of it?
Yes, fuck it. Nobody cares
about
Morbius.
Spoiler alert.
So if anyone cares about Morbius and was planning on seeing it, go to the movie theater quickly because it's probably not going to be in theaters for too much longer. But yeah, the post-credit scenes are they're ridiculous. So the first post-credit scene is like it shows the sky and how it's like purple, just like the end of Spider-Man Far From Home. And then like Michael Keaton teleports into like a jail cell and basically is like cool with the fact that he's now in this teleported to this new jail cell, and is like makes a joke about how he hopes the food's better in this joint. And then we it like goes to a newscast where the news is like Adrian Toomes randomly appeared in a jail cell. Because of this, he's gonna have to get released from jail because they don't know why Adrian Toomes randomly appeared in a jail cell. And so like that's it for post-credit scene 1. So it's like, what the fuck? Like what does that even mean? Like how does that happen? Why is like
Yeah, why could he jump from one universe to another?
And that's
yeah, like that's not how it worked.
yeah. And that
So, like-
that oh my god, that's so annoying.
Like what? So I have a theory about this.
All right, let's hear your theory.
So my theory is that the original plan was for Morbius to appear in Spider-Man's universe, like Venom did. And they were going to start to set up the Sinister Six that way, where the six villains would appear.
That makes sense.
And so what I think would have happened, so you know at the end of No Way Home, how like they were like just kidding about Venom and he just like, he's on an island and like drinking Mai Tais or whatever, and then he just like teleports home and it was like, cool, that was pointless. If Morbius had came out when it was originally supposed to, and they had that Venom-like teaser where Morbius disappears and gets teleported into Spider-Man's universe, like would it have been Eddie Brock and Jared Leto I don't know what Morbius is, like Dr. I don't know what the fuck his name is. We're just
Dr.
calling him Jared
Michael
Leto.
Morbius?
Yeah, that's right. His name is Morbius.
My name is Dr. Michael Morbius.
But like, would they have just been on the island together drinking cocktails and bullshitting and then just teleport away? Like, how would they have handled that?
Is he even allowed to be? What kind of vampire is he? Is he allowed out in the sun?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so.
All right, so he's a daywalker. He's like Blade.
He's not really a vampire. He's just a
Fuck
Batman.
He has like, it's like a blood disease that he
Probably shouldn't have dropped a movie about a literal Batman 3 weeks after the Batman comes out.
Yeah, he's got like vampire bat genes.
Mm-hmm.
But it happens to just replicate a vampire for whatever reason. Anyway, so that's weird enough, and it's weird that they like showed this new scene where they're just like, Adrian Toomes is gonna get released from jail because he like randomly appeared in this jail cell. I have a lot of questions about that too. Like, how does that work? Like, was there already an Adrian Toomes there, and like this other Adrian Toomes appeared? Like, how do they know who Adrian Toomes even is? Yeah,
Maybe he's the Vulture in that universe too. I mean, he would have had to become it in a different way because there's no Tony Stark in Avengers.
Well, let's get to that.
Okay.
Post credit 2, Morbius is like driving his car out to like the desert, and then all of a sudden Keaton in like Falcon suit flies down, although it's like an enhanced Falcon suit because it's got like this beak looking thing now. And then Keaton's line is basically like something that implies that like it's Spider-Man's fault.
Okay.
That they're here. And he's like, I think we could do some good together. And then like that's the scene.
I don't get it.
But it makes
so he's got like the Falcon suit, like who knows how. And it got upgraded. I'm like, I don't know, does Tony Stark exist in this universe? Who the fuck knows? And then like why would they team? I don't know. So like,
Why would they team up? Yeah, that's a good question.
But even if this came out, if everything happened according to plan and this came out before Spider-Man: No Way Home, this still makes no sense.
Oh no! I don't think this was the original post credits. I think this was like a half-assed reshoot of what the post credits were. I think what we saw in the trailers was like the real post credits, where Keaton's there. But it may be because Morbius gets transported into the Spidey universe. Because there was the wanted signs with Spider-Man on it in the trailer. I think Morbius is the one that gets transported. Keaton's there. Venom's there. Like, they were setting up a Sinister Six. And then this was some half-assed way of trying to fix it, I guess.
Does Venom even get mentioned in the movie anymore?
I heard he does. Yes.
So is he in Venom's universe, or is there just a different Venom there? What the fuck's going
No.
on?
No
With
one
this
knows what the
series?
fuck is going on. But it's
All right,
like
and this is the movie that you drafted. What, second or third?
I drafted it second, I think.
Oh well, I would have done the same thing.
I mean, it could have been.
It
I
was
never thought it was
going
going to be good, but I was hoping maybe it was like Venomy, had like a Venomy stick. But I knew that Morbius is not Venom. Like he doesn't have the same. Apparently, I think Kate just said Venom is a good guy though. Apparently, Morbius is a good guy too in this movie. So I don't know what the fuck is.
I do
And
not
is-
think that she's a
Is
good guy.
Is Vulture a good guy now too?
I guess he was never that bad of a guy. He was just pissed at Tony.
So are these not going to be the Sinister Six? They're going to be like the Super Six.
I don't know. Sony doesn't know what they're doing. I mean, we have this. We still have the Craven movie.
When this fucking movie was made, No Way Home didn't even like exist as a concept. So it's pretty crazy that how much things have changed.
Derek
Yeah.
makes a good point. Sony would make Carnage sympathetic if they had to do it all over again.
Yeah, I mean, we could bring back Woody.
Hmm He was the best part
Yeah.
of that movie.
So that movie is just like seems like a flaming pile of trash.
Yeah.
And those
Yeah.
post credits just kind of pissed me off because it's like they didn't even try to like make it make any sense whatsoever. They were just like, "Here you go. Here's
Well, this will be one of
something."
this will be one of the rare Marvel movies that I do not see. I think the only ones I haven't seen are the two Ghost Rider movies, Elektra, and that might be it.
Have you
You
seen
won't even
both the
watch
Venoms?
this on.
I've seen both the Venoms.
Oh wow!
You won't watch
Bless
this on
you.
VOD.
Nah, I'm good. I have seen Punisher Warzone. Oh, if you're including the older, like older films, like pre-Blade, I have not seen the Dolph Lundgren Punisher or like any of those Roger Corman type, like Fantastic Four, Captain America type things. But in the post-Blade world, which is really all that matters, yeah, those were like the three movies I haven't seen.
Wow.
I imagine you guys are probably fairly similar.
I've definitely
Yeah.
seen less.
Yeah, you probably missed some X-Men movies or
Yeah, I definitely have. I
I
missed.
never saw Elektra.
yeah, same. But I've seen all the Sony movies other than this. Well, all the Spider-Man and Sony movies because they did Ghost Rider also. Universal did the Hulk, and that was really it. And then Fox did the Fantastic Four movies, Daredevil, Lionsgate did Punisher. Yeah, I guess that's basically it. Oh, and New Line did the Blade movies. Derek said the ones he hasn't seen are Punisher Warzone, Elektra, Ghost Rider 2. How was Ghost Rider 1? Has anyone else seen this in our group?
Ghost Rider 1?
I've actually
I've seen
one.
it, yeah.
No, you did? How was it?
Not in theaters, but I've seen it.
Yeah.
It's, it's a superhero movie with Nick Cage as your lead. I mean, I think you know what you're getting. It's like a by the books superhero, like 90s, or not 90s, but like the pre-Marvel universe
Yeah.
superhero movie with fucking Nick Cage being Nick Cage.
Ghost Rider 2, I actually walked out of.
Wasn't that one rated R, Ghost Rider 2?
Yeah.
Didn't they
Yeah.
elevate it from the
Hmm
previous one?
It's terrible. I actually walked out of it.
Punisher Warzone is definitely the most brutal Marvel movie that's ever been made.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
a brutal fucking comic book come to life. But yeah, and then I mean, if we went into the TV shows, that changes the game. All right, let's stop talking about Morbius though, because
I mean, we already did stop talking about Morbius.
that's true. We
So
just went into the
that's how lame
unofficial
Morbius is.
the unofficial Marvel movies, or the legacy movies. All right. As far as the pool goes, though, we've got Corey in third with 104 million. He's had Death on the Nile, Cyrano, and The Lost City. Lost City's performing pretty well. Should get to close to 100 million. He still has Fantastic Beasts, Bad Guys, and The Northman. So probably looking at, I don't know, 300, 400 million from these movies. From those three and the rest of The Lost City. Which in theory could get you pretty close to where I'm at. Doug, you're at 207 million in second place. You've had Moonfall, Uncharted, X, and Morbius now. You still have Sonic 2 and Ambulance, both coming out this weekend. So it's a huge weekend for you. This weekend will determine whether you can get first place or not. So it's going to be an exciting one in our group chat. And then I'm in first with 49 million, with Jackass, Marry Me, Dog, and the Batman. And then I still have Father Stew. So I have one movie left, and you guys have 2 and 3 left. And I'm at 489. So this weekend you'll no longer. It'll be where you have at least half of what I have, probably far more than half of what I have at this point after this weekend, because Batman is still making some money, but nothing crazy.
What is it? 2 weeks now until it's on digital, or it's on HBO?
Yeah, got 2 more weekends before it's on. I think it's Tuesday the 19th. It's on HBO Max.
It's going so slow.
Yeah, right.
I just want it to stop making money.
But yeah, and I have no idea how Father Stew is going to do, so that one's going to be interesting. If that one does well for me, then I think it's going to be
it's over. But it probably won't do that great.
Yeah, as an adult, like targeted movie, we haven't seen many of those break out since the pandemic started, so that'll be pretty impressive if it does. All right. As far though, for other box office related stuff, later on in the next couple weeks, we're going to be doing our summer draft. So I believe Doug already did the draft order. Is that correct, Doug?
I did.
Would you like to announce what picks we are each having at this point in time? Based on your smirk, I'm guessing I'm first place. I have the number 1 pick again.
Yeah, so Murph, you're number 1 again. Because that's your permanent spot.
3 in a row. Okay.
In this draft.
All right.
You want to know what's annoying about it? I was like, I'm not gonna let Murph be number 1, so I'm gonna put him as the number 1 on the number generator, because I was like, surely it'll be another number.
Surely.
And it came back with 1, and I was like, son of a bitch.
Who is it? Who has second and third?
Corey is second.
Okay.
And I'm third.
All right.
Okay.
I'm kind of envious of third place. Just
Third's not terrible. Yeah.
2 in a row. Although I'm kind of happy. I'm kind of happy with first though. I think there's 6 big movies. If Thor comes out this summer, I think there's 6 big movies coming out this summer. So, or was it 5? In which case, I'm not happy. Just thinking in my head.
I don't think Thor comes out.
I think there's 5 big ones.
Hold on.
But if Thor gets pushed, would it get pushed to the fall, or would they push it out into 2023? You think?
I think.
Do they have something coming out in the fall, or is fall open?
Black Panther in November, but they could always just push it back 2 months and have it open Labor Day weekend, like Shang-Chi. But I think they're prepping to do some marketing materials. I saw Chris Hemsworth post something. Yeah. So I wouldn't be shocked if we hear something this week. Either way, we'll know whether it's getting pushed back past summer.
It's got to be getting pushed. Like, what? How close are we now to a Thor movie coming to its release date?
3 months.
Yeah.
It-
They just
3
finished
months,
reshoots.
and we've gotten nothing from that movie.
Yeah, he'll probably be September or November. Because I don't know Black Panther. I mean, Black Panther just wrapped, so I mean that could be ready for November.
They could push it though too.
Which one?
Panther.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if they push Panther to next summer.
And they could push Thor into Panther spot.
Like they put Panther out when Ant-Man 3 is supposed to come out next summer, and actually like have a mega blockbuster. And man, that would be a killer. Like 6 months to start the year, or 7 months to start the year, if they have the Marvels and Guardians 3 and Black Panther 2, and then close out this year with Thor.
I wonder what the 5th movie is. I'm only counting 4.
Top Gun Maverick.
I don't know, I'll have to go back and look.
There's I mean they're like I said, it's a very top heavy draft. Like once we get after the second round or third round, it's gonna be tough. But we're gonna
3's
do
not a terrible place to be. I'm not hating 3, but
honestly, there's no bad pick. With 3 people, there's really no bad pick.
yeah.
But we're gonna do 20.
Yeah, if No Way Home's in the draft, then there is a bad pick.
True. We're gonna do 24 picks, so we'll each have 8 movies, and we'll do similar to what we did in the past, I believe, where the winner gets a gift card. But the 3 of us will talk more about that before we prep for that episode. All right. Enough about what's coming later. We'll get more into what's coming later. Let's talk about Top Gun Maverick. We got the trailer for that. Like 2 years after the last trailer. But this shit's finally coming out over Memorial Day weekend. Doug, what did you, as somebody who's seen the least amount of footage from this film, think about the trailer?
Looks fine.
It looks fine.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's not like we were just talking about our top movies. Like, it wasn't a movie that is a top movie in my like movies I'm looking forward to in the summer. I thought the trailer looked great in 2019 in IMAX when I saw it, and like the theater, like the jet engines made the chairs rumble, and I was like, oh, this movie's gonna be amazing. There's something about like too much time passing, I think, where I'm just like, I don't care about this movie anymore.
Yeah. The good thing is we don't have too many more of those at this point.
Yeah, I mean, but I didn't think that the trailer just seemed like more of the same. Like, you're either into this movie or you're not. Like, it's gonna be Tom Cruise flying around in a jet, and there's gonna be some nostalgia there, and you're either down for it or not. It's gonna be fun. If I sign up for A-List, I'll see it, but I don't know. Didn't really like. It didn't add to the anticipation. Didn't decrease my anticipation. I just felt like it was like more of the same.
It was very similar to the last trailer, but I think like it tried to hype. Yeah. It tried to hype you up a bit more with like the action in the trailer, the nostalgia.
They made it a little more clear, like, oh, this is Goose's kid.
Yep.
Oh, like here's Iceman. Like he's involved in the plot. So I think that's probably going to pull in young, like older audiences of the original and get them kind of hyped. But yeah, this is one I want to see, like, you know, big IMAX. Like I want to go to New York City and see this one because it will be absolutely killer in that format.
I saw the when I was talking about 2019, when I saw the first trailer for this movie, it wasn't a real IMAX in South Florida, and it was awesome. Like, I was just like, this movie's gonna look great in IMAX.
Yeah.
Fortunately, I don't live near an IMAX anymore, so I'm gonna have to travel elsewhere to see it if I want to see it in a real IMAX.
Yeah, which is annoying.
Yeah, and I mean, you were talking about traveling to New York City. I'm probably gonna have to leave the state.
Yeah, well, so am I.
That's true, but it's a smaller state, I guess.
Yeah, this is true. All right. Well, it doesn't sound like we have too much to say about Top Gun. We'll talk about it when it comes out. What are our thoughts on it? So let's get into some things we have actually seen. The Lost City and Moon Knight, the series premiere. We'll start with The Lost City. You've probably seen the trailer for this one, people, or commercial. It's the comedy with Sandra Bullock and Channing Tatum, with Brad Pitt and Daniel Radcliffe in co-starring roles, where they are Sandra Bullock's a novelist, romantic novelist who gets in deep with the I don't know Daniel Radcliffe's villain, because there is archaeology involved in her writing, and there's
Her husband was a archaeologist.
yeah, her husband's was an archaeologist, and there's a bunch of treasure that Daniel Radcliffe believes he can find with her help. Um, Channing Tatum is the cover model for her books, and when things go sour, he has to go rescue her, and things get wacky. Um, I don't think we were the main target demo for this film. I think it was definitely more of a female like marketed movie. But what did you guys think?
And like, I
Yeah.
noticed the audience. I don't know about your audience. I mean, I a lot of times I go during like the matinee time, but it was like older.
Mm, yeah,
I
yeah,
think it was probably the most older people I've seen in a movie theater in a long time, actually.
yeah. People are getting more comfortable going back out to the movies, and this is like Sandra Bullock can bring in crowds of all ages. Like she's been around for so long at this point, like
Mm-hmm.
30, about 30 years. She's been famous, so she's one of the few. I think at this point, her and Leo are like the only people that you could trust to open a movie, unless it's part of a bigger franchise. So it was a hit. Um, I think we can all say that it was amusing. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
I like the fact that I got to laugh at a movie theater, and it not be like a superhero movie that had laughs. While I love that, I love laughing my ass off during Spider Man. It's cool to go see an actual comedy movie, where the entire focus of the film is getting you to laugh. It's really the only one we've had since prior to the pandemic is Jackass Forever, which is a completely different type of documentary ish comedy. So this one we got the full like a full narrative, and I don't know. I enjoyed it. I'd see a sequel. I
Yeah,
wasn't,
for sure.
and I wasn't even expecting to see it. But then the reviews were pretty solid. People seemed to be getting hyped. You guys were all seeing it, so I'm like, fuck it, why not?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I really
Go ahead,
liked I really liked all the actors. I thought Daniel Radcliffe was a good villain, surprisingly. Like, not that he's not a good actor, he's not capable of it. I just didn't see him in that type of role. And he was hammy and, mustache twirling type of villain. He did that very well. Um, and it was just like you said, it was a fun, just silly comedy. Brad Pitt was great. It was just fun. It was refreshing to see a movie like that because we haven't seen one in a while.
Did you see the after credit scene or the mid credit scene, Doug? Or did you walk
Trying to
out?
remember which. No, I stayed for the after the credits. Was
Oh,
it the Brad Pitt one?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I was just like, okay. I didn't really like. Just look like them having fun, like fucking around on set.
Yeah, exactly.
As a whole, it looked like that they had a lot of fun making it.
Yeah, there's a lot of. You could tell there was some like improv and going on set and all that stuff. I thought Channing Tatum, it felt like his like 21 Jump Street character a little bit.
Yeah.
Where he's just like dumb guy.
Yeah, I can see that.
But he does it very well.
Oh,
Yeah.
He's good at dumb guy.
It's my favorite Channing Tatum is the comedy like dumb nice guy type character.
He's got like chops when it comes to comedy. Like, I mean, he's got like good comedic timing, and
Yeah.
he definitely
very
works
funny.
well in comedy. And then Sandra Bullock has always done well with comedy as well. So I thought that pairing worked really well for the movie. I thought Daniel Radcliffe seemed like he was having a lot of fun. Kind of wish they let him do a little bit more, but I thought the scenes he was in, he did look like he was having a blast, and I like seeing him just kind of let loose.
That might have been the first thing I've seen him in outside of Harry Potter.
Oh, really?
He's been in a few things.
I haven't seen any of his I don't think I've seen any of his dramas or like the indie type movies he's done.
Swiss Army Man's good. With him.
I've heard that. I haven't seen that movie.
Yeah, it's really good. This movie was shot on location mostly, right?
Mostly. So like the jungle, so they filmed in Costa Rica, I believe. So like the jungle, that's why like the jungle looked like the jungle. It wasn't Jungle Cruise where you're like, this is a green screen around like a studio somewhere, and this is all CGI jungle.
I really liked that, how it was on location.
Yeah, I thought that was a good touch.
Have either of you guys seen Romancing the Stone or Jewel of the Nile?
I think I saw Jewel of the Nile, not Romancing Stone.
Doug, did you say you've seen them?
No, I haven't seen either. I heard this kind of reminded people of Romancing of the Stone.
Yeah, and Jewel of the Nile is the sequel. I saw them back when I was a kid, and it was like that type of vibe, with the like odd couple, like romantic pairing. Well, that isn't a romantic pairing by the beginning, but by the end it is. It's with Michael Douglas and then I think Kathleen Turner.
That sounds right for a pairing with Michael Douglas during that time period.
Right. Yeah, it is her. And then Danny DeVito is like the main like supporting character. Kind of has a similar vibe to like Joe Pesci and like Lethal Weapons, like being that type of character like around them. But yeah, that's the vibe I got from the film. So I think if you got like a Danny DeVito type character to be like that third piece for the second one, it could be pretty solid. Add more to the humor.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys buy the like romantic relationship between Tatum and Sandra Bullock?
I mean, do I think they'd get married? No. Do I think they could fuck? Yes.
Yeah, I mean, sure they could fuck. It just felt like
good chemistry.
They had great chemistry, but they had like great friend chemistry for me. Like it didn't feel earned when they were just like, we're a couple now.
Yeah.
And I wonder, this is once again like me. I noticed there's going to be a theme on this episode. It's me analyzing reshoots. So we're
going to be seeing a lot of reshoots over the next couple years.
Yep.
So the end of this movie, when they're like together and they're like finally a couple. I mean, Channing Tatum's hair is completely different. It's like it's way shaved down. You're like, this guy was filming another movie and they dragged him back for a reshoot on this thing. And I'm wondering if like they weren't a couple when it ended, and like the stupid audience test screening were just like, oh, we wanted them to be a couple, and they were like, all right, Channing Tatum, Sandra Bullock, let's get you guys back. Refilm this, say these couple of lines where you're a couple, and let's call it a day.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they should have waited to the sequel to like make that happen. Like have them be romantic, like fully romantically involved versus just shoehorning it into the end.
Yeah, the end just felt weird. And
I mean, Channing Tatum's hair was all buzzed. Yeah,
it was like completely buzzed, and like they didn't even say like any line to be like address it. They were just like, this is what you looked like the entire time. Forget like he looked a different way during the rest of this movie. I don't know, that kind of stuff that took me out of the movie a little bit, but I think we all agree it was pretty fun. What'd you all think of Brad Pitt's character?
Oh, he was hilarious. I wish he was in more of the movie, but it was
he was in more than I thought he would be from that like trailer cameo. I thought it was going to be another like Deadpool where he's in the movie for like 2 seconds.
I wouldn't change it based on how, what happened, but like it was still, I still would have liked to see more of his character, and I guess we can if they do a sequel. I mean, he was hilarious.
And Sandra Bullock's actually in that Bullet Train movie with Brad Pitt, so it seems like they're just doing a lot of shit together. So maybe that one will be their first one where they're like together most of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
As
That's
in
cool.
Lost City too.
Yeah, I
But,
mean, I think we're all on the same page with this movie. It was fun. We all enjoyed it. Was it amazing? No, but I mean, I'd see it. Like, I'd recommend that someone see it, especially if like you want to have like a date night or if you just want to like sit around and have some like mindless fun. I think it's a movie worth watching.
It's a good popcorn movie.
it's good for for
Yeah.
some laughs. Well, hopefully, if they do make a second one, it is not as bad as Sandra Bullock's previous sequels, because she has not had much luck in the sequel department.
It's fair. I'm sure it will be. I have faith.
Corey, do you agree?
I mean, you guys know how I feel about Speed 2 Cruise Control. I do enjoy that movie, even though I know it's terrible.
Hey, at least as long as you're aware it's bad. And it's funny because Speed 2 also has leeches in it, and The Lost City has leeches in it. I thought of that connection during the movie. I'm like, very weird that.
Oh yeah, Willem
multiple-
Dafoe, like he has like the leeches on him for whatever reason. I don't remember why.
I think they
Does he have like a blood disease or something?
Yeah, I think they like suck out some blood disease or some shit.
Toxin.
Yeah,
Ugh.
but I thought that was
Yeah,
odd.
I didn't think the leeches was like a great scene. I think it was that funny, but
Yeah. All right, then let's move on to Moon Knight. So it's only 6 episodes. We've got the premiere so far, so it's going to go by fairly quickly. What did you think of how they presented this first episode, where you're really like, it's like an origin story, but only for like the one personality of
Stephen
Moon Knight?
Grant.
Yeah, Stephen Grant. The other one
Or
who
Stephen.
is Moon Knight, like is doing his own thing, and we don't actually see his origin.
I actually really liked it because I was expecting it to be done in a more linear way, and kind of keeping the audience like confused for most of all of the episode, really, because we still don't know really what's going on. Was cool because you're kind of feeling the same way that the main character is feeling, like he's disoriented and really doesn't have control over himself, doesn't know what's going on. So that was kind of like a feeling that the audience would share with him. I thought that was really cool, a way of doing the origin story instead of doing it like the traditional way.
Yeah, I agree. It puts you in the character's shoes a lot, or like a more interesting character because they don't really understand what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of remind me a little bit of The Father. Promo for The Father. Gonna mention it.
An art house fucking drama nominated for Best Picture. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the Anthony Hopkins movie.
He has dementia, doesn't he?
He has dementia, and so you're in his shoes, and you're basically in his perspective, and so like things cut weird, and like characters change actors, and you're confused, and he's confused, and everyone's confused. You kind of there's kind of a similar vibe here where you were in Stephen Grant's shoes, the British guy with the bad British accent, who's, he thinks he has a sleepwalking issue,
Mm-hmm.
and goes to extremes to solve that problem by tethering his leg to his bed, taping the door, having like sand spread around his bed. And you're like in his shoes, and I like the fact that you like it's all from his perspective, and so you only see when he's in control of the body and not when Mark is in control.
Right.
The more capable fighting badass character.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was cool just kind of being in his shoes and kind of seeing his perspective as like the hapless guy that just doesn't know what the hell is going on, and trying to make sure that he doesn't lose his job at the museum store.
He's also
I thought that was
so
kind of fun.
awkward too. Like his character is so painfully awkward in like every conversation that he has in that episode. And I thought that was like really interesting. That pulled you in more. You're just like, oh my god, what is this guy gonna do? Like, he's just such a disaster right now.
Yeah, I mean, they did a good job of making him look very disheveled.
Mhm.
I thought Oscar Isaac does a great job of portraying a disheveled American guy that thinks he's British. Um,
The accent was good. I think it's good.
it wasn't. I didn't think it was good, but I thought it was like didn't have to be good because it was like he's not really British. He just thinks he's British. Yeah, I mean, I thought it was fun. I mean, he had some interesting moments. I mean, when you're talking about pathetic, there's a point in the movie where he is supposed to have a date that he didn't realize he set up.
Yeah.
Presumably Mark, his other alternate personality, set it up.
It's like fucking Buddy Love and Sherman Klump in The Nutty Professor.
I didn't even think about that.
I didn't either until right now.
It really is.
But then he like goes on the date and doesn't realize that he's like 2 days late to the date. He's a vegan and decides to order steak, and it was like an overly pathetic scene where he was just clumping it up.
So you think that, like, clumping it up. Those couple scenes where he's like on the phone talking to someone, like it almost like he's leaving a voice message or
so he's calling his mom, but he never gets her. He's always leaving a voice message.
It's so weird.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know that he's really calling like his mom. Like
I thought maybe like she's not alive anymore. Like, and he's just...
he's calling as like the British character, and I was just like, maybe he's just calling like some random number. Maybe Mark set up that number just to like keep Steven busy.
But yeah, for me, I guess the show's like the Nutty Professor crossed with Venom, because like I get total Venom vibes from.
It's got a lot of Venom
the
vibes.
Egyptian god that is talking in his head, played by F. Murray Abraham, from Mythic Quest and Homeland and Scarface, plenty of things. Yeah, that's the vibe I'm getting right now, which is interesting for a Marvel show. I've yet to get any sort of Batman vibes because I hear a lot of people compare him to Batman. Maybe that is to come. Maybe that is to come.
So they change things, and I think that's probably they've changed things to make it less like Batman. So my understanding is Stephen Grant, the like nerdy museum store owner that we're getting right now, is not the Stephen Grant from like the comics. Stephen Grant is supposed to be like a millionaire, billionaire playboy.
Okay.
So they're adapting it,
and so they've changed it now to this like pathetic loser character.
Got it. Yeah, big difference.
So I think that's gonna make the Batman comparison probably not as prevalent, because
probably a good thing.
Yeah, because he's not gonna be this million.
They've already done it. Basically. They've already done it with Iron Man.
Yeah. So I think they made that change, and I think it's gonna feel less like Batman than the comics because of that. But
okay.
So you may get less of a Batman vibe, but
I actually didn't realize that F. Murray Abraham voices the like Moon Knight character, whoever he's actually that character.
Yeah, the Egyptian god.
Yeah, character. CW from Mythic Quest. I did not realize that. That's pretty wild.
What do you guys think of Ethan Hawke and his introduction?
I liked him. He's weird, but it's a cool. Seems like a very interesting character, and Ethan Hawke is very good at doing those like really creepy and just insane characters. So I think he'll probably kill it.
Yeah, stepping on the glass was a pretty wild opener.
Yeah.
It's like, oh shit, this motherfucker's crazy.
Crazy.
He's really into his religion or something. It reminded me of the Da Vinci Code when the dude was smacking his back. Paul Bettany was self-flagellating or whatever that word is called.
So is he he has powers himself? right? Like I guess he's able to like he has like a Shang Tsung type of power where he can like pull your soul out of your body. That's what it seems like.
Seemed like he's a vessel for another Egyptian god, kind of like Moon Knight's a vessel for.
Mm.
It seems like it seems like they're both vessels of Egyptian gods. Is kind of the vibe I got.
I got like your soul is mine vibe. You're just gonna be like, wow.
Yeah, he's acting on behalf of that like dog Egyptian god that judges souls. And apparently, it's like Minority Report and one of like can't think of another movie other than Minority Report with that old lady that was just like, I haven't done anything wrong, and he was like, yep, sorry, like you might do something wrong in the future, so
the gods have spoken.
Yeah.
It's like fuck.
How do you think this show was as a opener in comparison to the other MCU ones we've gotten on Disney Plus over the past year?
I thought it was really strong. Like it grabbed my attention and I was pretty invested like 10 minutes in. Probably not even, maybe 5. So
I have it at I immediately went to ranking it in my head. Maybe 3rd best.
That's what I'm thinking too. I put Loki and WandaVision above it.
Yep. Those are the 2 that I would definitely put above it. I loved like the Loki opener was really strong for me. Same, and WandaVision was shorter than I think the other ones, but just
yes, it was shorter.
Because you're just like, what the fuck is going on? And this is just so unique.
And, yeah, the uniqueness is what got me with that one.
This actually feels less unique, which surprised me a little bit. It feels more like a Marvel movie. I mean, there's definitely parts of it that, like the split personality stuff is a little unique, but it's not. Like another Marvel property, I would say, was Legion.
Yeah.
In that he had multiple personalities, and that was way weirder.
Oh, the trippiest fucking show.
Yeah, that show was unique, and this kind of felt still like within the Marvel formula.
Yeah.
Which I kind of was hoping for a little bit of something a little bit.
Yeah,
easier.
They're never getting fucking out of their like the way they do things. The formula is just too consistent.
Their comfort zone.
Yeah. It's unfortunate because it stops them from doing things like
it stops them from making the Batman or or Logan or like some of these ones the competitors make that are
but
groundbreaking.
I guess their argument would be it stops us from making a Morbius.
Yeah,
which is true. It does.
Yeah, I mean, you still can have some better quality. Like if you have better people doing quality control, you shouldn't end up with that. Like you'll get it in Eternals, which I think was fucking awesome.
Yeah, Eternals was good.
That was the only time they didn't follow the formula, but it makes fucking the least amount of money of any Marvel movie, adjusted for inflation, and the reviews are the worst ever. I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't understand that one either. I mean, WandaVision started pretty unique and then turned into a Marvel.
Went right back to the formula by the end.
Yeah. But like those first couple episodes, you're like, this feels fresh.
Yeah.
And then Marvel stepped in.
They tricked us. Tricked us.
And they're like, oh, you're enjoying this? Time we
big CGI battle.
Yeah.
Boner you.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Anything else about Moon Knight? Anything you're looking forward to? I imagine we'll just talk about it when it's over at this point. Or maybe we'll check in after the next couple episodes. Depends on when we do our next episode.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was good overall. I thought the CGI would wind up being spotty again.
It was at times.
Which we noticed, and we had talked about with Hawkeye. Like there was some really goofy CGI stuff in Hawkeye, especially like the ooze arrow. It was the one that really sticks out to me the most.
Yeah.
Kind of felt like we got some of that already in Moon Knight with like the fucking ice cream truck or whatever. The cupcake truck.
Yeah.
Chase scene. Like that was bad.
I didn't think it was as egregious as the Hawkeye stuff.
Yeah, I agree with Murph. It was bad, but I don't think it was as bad.
I also wasn't watching it on as big a television as I was for Hawkeye, but yeah, there was no way it was as bad as Hawkeye. Hawkeye's was like long, like embarrassing, like CGI. This one, like the stuff I thought was the worst, was fairly quick. Like the wood, like the trees falling
The
down.
logs falling off the
that's what
truck.
the
that was
logs.
bad.
That's what
The
I thought was the
trucks,
worst.
the truck moving looked like a Nintendo 64 game.
I didn't. Okay, I'd have to watch that again.
Yeah, I think especially because of the TV that we were watching it on, Murph. I think like that didn't stand out as much.
Yeah, exactly.
Throw it on the biggest screen you got in 4K, so you can.
Well, that's how I'll watch the rest of the show.
You can scrutinize the shitty CGI because there's some trash in there, and it's like they don't have the money or they don't have the time.
I think it's budget. I think they don't want to spend the money necessary to give it that final pass. It's like, this is good enough. It's a TV show. Our budget is X. That's it.
But these things, if you look at them, I mean, these things are starting to be like movie length. They're not that much longer than movie length. If we're only getting 6 episodes, they're like 40 minutes. What do you get? Like 6 minutes of credits.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Batman was
the
like
quality really needs to be at this almost the same level as the movies, because it does become distracting at times. And they said that they were going to be, and like clearly visually they're not, in more cases than not.
Yeah, it's definitely not the caliber of the movies. It's for sure.
All right. Well, you fucking brought it up. Well, the Batman. Let's go pivot to the Batman. How's that sound?
Is that our main topic for tonight?
It is. There's our feature presentation.
Look at that segue.
I know. Perfect timing.
Boom.
But yeah, we're going to talk about the Batman and the Joker. We got the additional 5-minute deleted scene. Pretty lengthy for a deleted scene. That was officially released online via the what is it? The Lada, or what is it? You are Larada Alada. That was how the
Rada Alada.
You are Rada. Yeah, you are. Yeah, Rada Alada.
Yeah.
So I think it came out through the game on there, the riddle, and yeah, I mean, it shows Barry Keoghan. I don't know how to pronounce his name. I'm gonna have to learn that by the time they make the next one.
I think it's Keoghan, but I think.
Yeah, I'm just gonna call him Barry from now on. Until I have to listen to it to 100% be like fully confident that like, even though I don't know if you guys know this, but a lot of celebrities, they just accept that people say their names wrong, and not just like fans, but like everyone, like talk show hosts, like movie trailers, they're just like, whatever, fuck it, this is my name now. Like they can't say it right. This is who I am.
Like Judd Apatow.
Yeah, back in the day, we used to say that wrong all the time. But like even someone like Denzel Washington in trailers, like if you go back to old movie trailers, you'd see it. They'd say Denzel Washington, and now they'll say, or no, before it was Denzel Washington, and now they say Denzel Washington. It's Denzel, but they're just like, whatever, like. They just changed his name midway through like his career with how they pronounced it, and everyone just went with it. So, yeah, what I'm getting at is I don't even trust. Like I was gonna say, I'll listen to an interview where someone says his name. Who knows if they're gonna even say it correctly. But
yeah, looks like Keoghan based on.
Yeah, I think it's Keoghan or Keoghan.
Keoghan is how Wikipedia says it's.
I looked at Wikipedia earlier, but I couldn't figure out how the fuck to say it based on even the way that they did the pronunciation. But either way, we got 5 minutes of him and Robert Pattinson chatting it up in Arkham. It was sort of like a serial killer profiling session with Batman trying to find out information about Riddler, who the Riddler is, why he does what he does, all things like that, while the Joker does his usual playing like mind games with the Batman and kind of just like ruffling up his feathers and trying to get more information about why this guy does what he does, make him more self-conscious about what he does. and put the idea in his head that him and the Riddler aren't too different from one another. So, first question, do you agree with the decision to cut this scene from the film? Do you think this would have fit the movie better than the other scene with the Joker that was in the movie? Or would you just not have had either scene in the film?
I would have rather have seen this scene in the movie. I mean, it definitely rehashes a lot of things that they've already established, but I think it would have served better than the other scene. And I think that this was fun enough and well done enough that it should have been there.
Doug?
I would have cut. I would cut both those scenes. I think it made sense that it was cut because I don't think it really served a purpose for the movie. I mean, Riddler kind of explained, like, all that shit gets explained through Riddler anyway. So I think like having the Joker scene kind of just would have been redundant and taken away from the Riddler as a character. Movie was kind of bloated as it was. I don't think it needed this like side tangent with the Joker. And
I mean, that scene feels long, like that 5-minute scene that they put out, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, it feels long.
There's not a lot of cuts to it either, and I think that's what really makes it seem as long as it is. Like there's a lot of segments in that one scene where it's just on one of the characters, and like that's it.
Yeah, I mean it's
very few.
It's very much in style with the way the movie was filmed. I mean, it fits in the movie. I don't think it was necessary. And two, I just think there was more stuff that needed cutting to try to add this in. It would have bloated this movie even more. I think this scene should have been cut. I think the Joker scene should have been cut. I think the motorcycle scene should have been cut. I can probably find more scenes to cut after that, but I think more should have been cut than less.
One question I have is, but don't you think like because it established that, you know, this movie, what we were seeing wasn't really Batman's kind of first rodeo. Like he already had a run-in with the Joker. Like they have an established history, and the way they introduced that was with this scene. We obviously didn't see it, but like, you know, they showed that, you know, that information and that established history in that scene.
I mean, I think I already understood from the way the movie was told that it wasn't his first rodeo. That he had been doing this for a period of time. I think if you wanted to establish the fact that the Joker was a character in this universe and that he dealt with him, I could throw that into like one line from Commissioner Gordon and call it a day, where he just, you know, says like, just references the fact that Batman seems unhinged, or that, I mean, you really just like, you could have a Commissioner Gordon say like one line of dialogue that references the fact that he had the run-in with the Joker already at this point, and I feel like that's fine. To have like a 5-minute scene, like the back and forth, I think it just bloats the movie. I think it makes the movie worse, honestly, than it makes it better. But I haven't seen the movie as many times, nearly as many times as Murph has, so I don't know. I feel like you have a different perspective, because all I remember is being annoyed at some of the. I thought it was a little bit bloated.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely have different thoughts about the film after seeing it 3 times now. When we originally talked about it, I think we had all seen it once. Corey, I think you've seen it twice now.
Mm-hmm.
So I imagine you have some different thoughts as well.
Yeah.
Despite being nearly 3 hours, I don't find the film bloated. Like, it engages me throughout. I'm no longer opposed to the scene at the end with Catwoman, with Selina and Batman talking. I actually think it's pretty necessary for them to have their little bit of closure before the movie ends. I don't have as much of a problem with. I really don't have a problem with seeing how the Riddler reacts anymore. and talking with the Joker. I just wish I liked this version of the Joker more. So if I cut that scene, it would only be because I wish they thought more about who they were casting. But I think they're gonna do this anyway. So it is what it is. I agree. I wouldn't add this scene to the film. I think they probably should have maybe thrown it out like before the movie came out.
Yeah.
As a like tease for the film. Like it probably would have. It could have raised awareness, got people hyped, or it could have maybe been like, "Oh man, the Joker's in this again," and like made people think he's going to be in a lot more of the movie than he is, which would have been problematic. But yeah, I don't think the scene works just because of things that you said, Doug. Like they already made it clear he's been Batman for a while. Like it's not his first rodeo, and the Riddler already makes clear the parallels between Bruce and himself, or Batman and himself. But I liked the scene more than I was expecting. I did like this scene more than, despite the fact that I wouldn't put it in the movie, I did like this scene more than, and his performance more in that deleted scene than I did in the film itself.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of weird. But like you said, like an extra 5 minutes, it's 1 5-minute scene that I think would just be too long, and would kind of drag the film down. Not like down another level or anything, but I think it'd be like a bathroom break scene for me.
Mm-hmm. One thing about the movie, and this is just in general, about the movie that I didn't realize until the second time I watched it, is the interrogation scene with Riddler. The first time I thought that he knew that Bruce Wayne was Batman, but he doesn't. He doesn't realize it.
Yeah.
That was something that didn't really click for me until the second time I watched it, amongst other things. And I thought that was really cool. And like Pattinson, his reaction at first was like, "Oh my god, shit, he knows who I am," and then him realizing that he has no idea who he is was pretty awesome. And like he's just such a good emotive actor.
I still find that scene very ambiguous, and I think the way I interpret it is he knows who it is, but he's not going to give up who he is. That's how I took it as, and he's fucking with him when he keeps saying Bruce, because it seems too like what? Why do you just continue saying it? Like,
Because he thinks that Bruce Wayne is the only victim that got away.
Yeah.
And he thinks that Batman is his equal. Like they're doing this together. Like we're partners in crime. Yeah, you helped me do this, and I think
I took it. I mean, granted, I only saw it the one time, but I took it as like he didn't know who Bruce Wayne was. It was just kind of like to make the audience be like, and Batman to be like, "Oh shit!" Like he jigs up. He knows he knows the identity of Batman. Then he's just like, that fucker Bruce Wayne got away.
Yeah.
But like, if you were gonna make the argument that he knew that he was Bruce Wayne, he couldn't have known it the entire time because he tries to kill Bruce Wayne.
Mm-hmm.
And he wouldn't have tried to kill Batman if he knew it was Bruce Wayne. So like, it wouldn't make sense. So.
I mean, he also sends it to him at a time where he's clearly at a different place, like going, like his riddle is driving him to go to the old orphanage at the same time that he sends the letter to the house.
Yeah, but the letter to the house is intended for Bruce.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, it also doesn't kill the person that it's supposed to kill. Or the person who opens it.
It seems like if Bruce opened it, he would have been fine because he would have been in the hospital. But like,
yeah. And I also thought about like in Batman Forever, the Riddler also knows who Bruce is in that and won't reveal it at the end of the movie. He seems too smart that he wouldn't be able to figure it out. If you look at, I mean, everything in his...
This Riddler seems too smart?
Yes.
Is he though? He doesn't, like, he uncovered like one thing about. Is he that smart though?
I think he's smart. I mean,
He's good at
they very
making-
much make it clear that he doesn't do things like wrong. Like he won't make mistakes.
He's good at making greeting cards. I mean, he has.
He is very good at making greeting cards.
He definitely has a business in that.
But in his like apartment room, like everything about like uncovering who Bruce Wayne is, like there's pictures of Batman like right next to it. So I don't know. I like that it can be ambiguous, and I think if they're just trying to fuck with the audience, I think that's a cheap move.
I do too.
I don't necessarily think it's a cheap move for him to fuck with Batman, but I think it's fucking cheap to fuck with the audience in a movie that doesn't do that anywhere else in the film.
I mean, Alfred almost dying was kind of like a fuck with the audience too.
No one knew he was gonna.
No one thought he was
gonna die.
The character that had like 3 scenes.
Not gonna kill. You're not gonna kill Alfred.
I mean, they made it dramatic. Like you thought.
They made it dramatic, but
like you
fucking with the audience is more
die.
like Nick Fury almost dying in Winter Soldier, because that's an established character who people would actually be kind of bummed if he died. But yeah, I could be very, very wrong. I was just sharing how I interpret it.
I mean,
it's interesting. It's interesting that we have different perspectives on this, and I think that's a cool thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I definitely want to see them. I would like to see the movie one more time, even though it's kind of out of like all the premium formats now. But I might check it out once again in theaters.
2 more weeks.
I had to see it one last time in like an IMAX.
Yeah.
Like at this point now, I've got my fill. It's gonna be on HBO Max in fucking 2 weeks, like Doug just said.
Yeah.
And it'll be on 4K probably in another month after that.
Got the 4K. Get that sound system.
Yeah.
Well, it'll probably. I mean, it'll be in 4K on HBO Max. I would.
Yeah, exactly. Fake 4K. Like owning it and having like a 4K Blu-ray will be where it's at. All right, what else do we got with this one? I will say this is absolutely my favorite movie of the decade so far. There's no question about that for me. And
the decade being the last.
The decade being the last 2 years.
Okay,
where
to clarify
where no movies came out for a long time.
Pattinson is definitely my favorite. My favorite Batman, probably second. Well, other than Michael Keaton, like second to Keaton, like right there. Other than Batman Returns, this is probably my favorite. Also right there. It just does so many good things, so many right things.
Yeah, I was kind of hard on Paul Dano originally. I like him more each time I watch the movie.
Yeah, he's very different.
And same with Andy Serkis. I've liked him more as I watch it, mostly just for the one scene in the hospital.
Yeah, we just don't get enough of him.
Yeah, exactly. They need to give more. Was he a butler or was he a bodyguard? Like the way they talk about him. The way they talk about him leads me to believe he was more of a bodyguard.
So if they go by the like that comic, then he is like the butler, but he was like a medic in whatever war. So like he also served that purpose too. Like
he talks about how it was his job to protect them. Like it makes me believe, and like based on like he clearly has like a war type history or something.
Yeah, he teaches Bruce to fight.
Yeah, he teaches Bruce to fight. It leads me to believe he wasn't just a straight up butler. Like he had like a more intense role.
Yeah,
in the Wayne's lives.
And I think
the Waynes were kind of like not perfect people, so it makes sense why like Thomas Wayne and Martha Wayne may need a bodyguard. Something like the shit that was going on.
Yeah, and I think they didn't mention it, but I have a feeling that like that Alfred had a hand in patching up Falcone, like when he in that time where he gets shot and he ends up,
Well, his dad was a doctor, so I mean, maybe he could have helped.
Yeah.
But yeah, Thomas was definitely the one like who saves his life.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's I've said to you guys after like the third time I saw him, like this is definitely like this is the best made Batman movie in my opinion. It's going to come down to whether it's ultimately like my favorite, and that'll take some more viewings over time to determine that.
It's definitely up there for me.
I don't think they can make a sequel as good as this one though. It's too good in my opinion. It's going to be really fucking hard and if they fucking go with the Joker, I'm going to be so disappointed as like a main villain. They need to do something else.
I would be so shocked if Matt Reeves does that. Like,
I would be just the Joker shocked. Or doesn't do the Joker?
Does the Joker. Like, I just think that he knows better, like, than to rehash the Joker again. I would build him up, maybe have him be introduced more in one of the TV shows, and then he'll be in like a movie, or just don't have him as the main villain in the second movie. Have him make an appearance again and like just build him up. I would be shocked if he does that.
Yeah.
It seems like he likes doing something. He wants to do something different. He doesn't want to rehash, what we've seen already. He wants to do like his own thing. So I don't know.
Doug, you've sat on the movie now for a few weeks. Have you had any change of heart about anything like since then?
I think I just got more entrenched in my initial takeaways. Like the things that annoyed me, I feel more entrenched or annoying. Things I really enjoyed, I feel like I enjoyed. I definitely want to see the movie again because I've only seen it the one time, and it sounds like there's stuff to take away from it it sounds like positions that you guys have changed in your reviews based on multiple viewings. When thinking back about Batman movies, though, like the best
it's a Nolan
experience.
What you're gonna say? It's a Nolan problem. His movies don't get as good on repeat viewings.
But like the Dark Knight in theater was amazing. Like,
yes.
To compare that experience, like I really enjoyed this movie, but I didn't have like the blast that I had when I saw The Dark Knight for the first time. I saw Heath Ledger, being Heath Ledger, and the Batmobile crashing and like a fucking motorcycle popping out of it, and like there were just so many cool moments in that movie as like a first time theater experience. I don't know. I have a hard time because I agree with you. I think this movie is really well made, but like when I'm just thinking about like seeing it for the first time versus seeing The Dark Knight for the first time, there were a lot more like highs for me on seeing The Dark Knight. I mean, does The Dark Knight age well? No.
I disagree with that. I think The Dark Knight still ages well. It just doesn't. It's not as good as it was on initial viewings because of the high that you get from like Heath Ledger and the various things you mentioned, which obviously aren't as fresh when you were watching it 20th time 10 years later.
Yeah, but like all the flaws stand out, I think, a little bit more with Nolan movies.
Yes,
like,
that's what I was getting at earlier with Nolan. Like Nolan's got a lot of flaws in his movies, but he does things so well otherwise that like it overshadows them and makes you not really think about them at first.
I mean, that's what's happening to me. Like I said, I watched No Way Home again at home by myself without like an audience and without like being hyped up for the movie. I'm like, the flaws stand out more.
Yeah.
Like the goofiness of it, like the nonsensical story, like a lot of that like stands out a lot more. It's the same thing with those Nolan movies. It sounds like when you watch these movies again, like if anything, some of the initial flaws that you saw, you don't see as flaws anymore. So I mean, that's interesting. I'll have to take a look and watch it again in 2 weeks when I have 3 hours to sit down and
hang
out.
Dark Knight was one that was similar for me though. Like I liked it Well, similar and yet different in the fact that I liked it more, like the more times I saw it in theaters. But the Dark Knight, I definitely liked the Batman more on my first viewing than I did the Dark Knight. I think a lot of it has to do with my anticipation of the Dark Knight was so ridiculously high,
Mm-hmm.
and my anticipation of the Batman was just high. I mean, I didn't even have it on my top 10 anticipated movies. I was looking forward to it, but like I wasn't like drooling and foaming from the mouth for it. But then like within 10 minutes of that movie, I was like, I fucking love this movie. They're doing it so right.
Yeah.
And it just continues to stay like that throughout the film.
Yeah, Dark Knight for me was the opposite. Like I was super well, obviously I was super hyped for it, but like my initial viewing was like through the roof, and then the subsequent viewings, it kind of like fell off for me.
We also
Like
saw it.
dramatically.
We also saw it in IMAX on the subsequent viewings, which I think played a major part for me personally.
Mm.
Like once we got it, like that, I think the second time we saw it, like the Friday night or whatever, instead of the midnight showing on Thursday, was like at a real IMAX. And then at that point, I knew what I was getting into completely. So then that was the time where like it clicked like 100% for me.
Mm.
What else? What else? Anything else about this one we want to talk about?
Just love that bat suit. That is
Yeah,
one thing. The bat suit is just so fucking good. And
it is.
I hope that there are some things that I want to improve, but I really hope they don't change like a lot. Like I want them to just like change the cape a little bit, maybe the cowl, but that's basically it for me. Like everything else
Yeah,
about it, I
I
think
really
is
like the cape and cowl. I hope they don't change it too much. Um, and I love the Batsuit as well. Like I love the Batmobile. The things I would change would be like Wayne Manor and the
Mhm.
Batcave. Those would be the things I would hope they upgrade as the movie goes along. Even the Bat Cycle, like that he has at the end of the film, I like a lot.
Yeah.
Which I didn't really even fully notice, like when watching it like originally, because he's riding a motorcycle throughout the film. But then I'm like, oh shit, this is like a different one.
It actually looks a lot like the bat cycle that he has in the most recent like year one like redo that they did in the comics.
Mhm.
It looks almost exactly like that, like almost like a dirt bike.
Yeah,
So that
yeah,
was
it's
kind of cool.
it's obviously very different from what he had in The Dark Knight,
Hmm.
and Dark Knight Rises. But yeah, I'm pumped to watch. I guess I'll probably watch it when it's on HBO Max, and then again once I have it on 4K. But I have a bunch I need to watch on 4K that I've purchased recently that I'm excited to watch again. Um,
Yeah, this will
anything?
definitely be one that I buy. I mean, I have a list that I have to buy on actual 4K,
Oh,
but
really?
This will be one that I will be buying.
What do you got on your list?
Uh, Eternals. I want to get No Way Home. Um, I want to get the Bond collection that just recently came out, the Daniel Craig Bond collection. I'm trying to think what else. There was a couple other ones. I can't remember right now. But
Are you gonna buy No Way Home, Doug?
I don't know.
Wow, that second viewing really did a fucking number.
Yeah,
You
I didn't
went
love it
from
on like.
absolutely loving the film on first viewing.
Yeah, yeah, just like yeah. I don't know. I knew the movie was flawed, but it's very flawed.
Yeah.
Rewatching it, I don't know. Maybe I'll try to rewatch it again and like give it another chance. But yeah, it definitely didn't hit for me the same way at home that it did in theaters.
The Marvel movies are just better with crowds, like the big Marvel movies,
Yeah, I mean,
like the End Games of the world, the Infinity Wars. Really, the major movies, or the biggest crowd of the big crowd pleasers.
yeah, there's just something about like, I mean, they know they're doing things and stuffing it full of like Easter eggs and just like things you've been waiting for to see and they give it to you, and you get the applause pauses that get made fun of online.
Yeah.
And it's just such an event. So it's like kind of, it's weird. It's like, it's kind of like when you watch it back at home, like it wasn't meant for this format.
Mm-hmm.
It was meant to be shown at theater. It was meant for there to be a crowd. It was meant for all of that. Like, I mean, I've seen Endgame a few times at home. I still enjoy Endgame, but it's not the spectacle that it was when I saw it in theaters, and it never will be, because it wasn't made to be seen by yourself or with a friend at your house. It was made to be seen with a bunch of people.
It'll never
that's
be
what's cool about those
an
movies.
Experience like it. It was an experience. It wasn't like just watching a movie.
Yeah. Yeah, it was definitely like it was almost like going to a sporting event.
It really was. I was losing my shit during it. It's embarrassing in retrospect, like how excited I was. But fuck it, it was fun.
Yeah, no, that was cool. And that's cool about the Marvel movies, and I'm hoping we get like, I enjoy it. I want it to keep coming. I'm hoping Doctor Strange is more of the same on that. If it will, I'm sure Murph, you'll make $1 billion off of that stupid ass first pick that you're gonna get.
If I draft it.
Yep. Sure. Who knows what movie you're gonna pick?
It's gonna all depend on if Thor comes out this summer. That
plays a big part in my decision.
Mm-hmm.
All right. It does. It does.
Would play a big part of my decision too if I had the first pick.
Tonight I'm going to like do my rankings and kind of get an idea of what I'm going to have.
I would
strategize.
Bet,
all of the money that Andy owes to Tits that that it's still going to be Doctor Strange as your number one.
All right. We'll see soon in the next 2 or 3 weeks. But I guess we should wrap it up since we've pivoted very far away from Batman. I pivoted very far away from it. But that really is all we have for today. So thank you again for listening. The next film in our Live Breathe Film Club, which we haven't done in a while, is going to be on Her Majesty's Secret Service. This was picked out by our number one fan on all our platforms, Derek. And it is the one Bond film that was with George Lazenby in the role. So I don't think any one of us have seen it before. So that's going to be an exciting one to check out since it's a new Bond. But yeah, if you want to also pick out a film for us in the Live Breathe Film Club, make sure to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, and engage the hell out of us with on the pages, so you can potentially pick a film for us to watch of your choosing. As for our next episode, we will be conducting our 2022 summer box office draft, as mentioned earlier. So that'll be the next 2 or 3 weeks, I would imagine. Hopefully we'll find out if Thor is getting delayed or not, because that is absolutely huge with picking our movies. And again, the draft order is myself with the number 1 pick, Corey with the number 2 pick, and Doug with the number 3 pick. That's correct, right, Doug?
Yep, that's right.
Cool. But yeah, also, after our next episode, we're going to be doing a new installment of our yearly film series right after the episode, which can only be found when we are recording live on Twitch or on YouTube after the fact. So we're going to be covering 2021, since we covered originally 1980 through 2020, where we each pick one of our favorite films of the year, something that we really enjoyed, or just something that we found memorable. So send us your favorite films from 2021 on social media so we can discuss your favorites along with ours. But as always, this has been Corey, Doug, and Murph at Live Breathe Film. We'll see you again next time, movie lovers.
Bye.